right, that song didn't hype me up enough, so I'm gonna do one more because I think it's fun. All right, probably won't even do the whole song, but we gotta get her going, make it all pumped up and fun. And I see your questions in there. Oh, I see them. Thank you very much. Let's get this puppy going. You guys are funny. The YouTubers are hilarious. We're just jamming out before we get started. So, hello from Germany. I'm reading the YouTube chats right now. Some of them are hilarious. I don't know. That sounds like an artist, Bachfit. I looked him up. I think you guys can hear me pretty well still. I got a mic on for the YouTubers, but um, no moonshine. No moonshine here. That's funny. Oh man, that is so sad. All right. So, all right, we're going to start. We'll have a little outro song at some point, but you guys are getting antsy in the chat, so I will tend to the comments coming in here. And TikTok was the first to start asking some of the questions here. But we got plenty in the YouTube chats. If you see me looking back and forth, we are so back. says that dude again. What's up, man? But yeah, let's get into our questions before people get too antsy. I mean, Kizzy here. I have a weird neck bump that doctors used to say it was just fat. Now that I'm skinny, it's not fat. What can this like hump on your neck be? Typically, there's issues with the adrenals there. So when you're having constant issues with the adrenals, you're going to get this dowager's hump, which is pretty well known and called that typically. I also think that there's postural involvement here too. So doing things like prolordotic bands, super key, as well as denturals to just force that neck curve forward and restore and build up a good quality curve. But this is connected between postural things and some adrenal connections there too. What is the lowest resting heart rate I have ever seen? Somewhere in the 40s. I don't remember exactly, but and then some over here. So no moonshine, no. We just got a little bit of a little bit of espresso, as always. So just goofing around. How am I? I'm doing pretty well. We got off some phone calls recently for the people that have been asking. Which, if at any point I put my emails in the description for the people on YouTube, along with links to get good quality herbs that I talk about here on every single day. And for the people on TikTok, guys, just message me. That's the beauty of TikTok, is that there's a DM box and I will get back to you. I'll probably give you my personal email, especially if you have labs to go over. I'm basically giving away things, helping people out as much as possible in preparation for getting my own practice running here. So before we get down into, you know, charging for things, I want to help as many people as possible. So reach out and I'll be getting back to you guys. Anyways, I don't know how I even got to that caveat, but Natalie, or yeah, Beauty Nat, my song, she was talking about the song I was playing earlier, Steve Aoki, saw him on Friday. Oh my goodness. Love that music. Me too. Me too. Oh my goodness. Okay, back to YouTube here. I'm a 30-year-old man with a beard of a 15-year-old boy. How can I grow a full beard? Any recommendations? Mm, there's going to be some links to being deficient, but also then hormone production of things. So if whether there's issues with LH or you're doing a lot of sugars, you may be not convert or holding on to that testosterone that you are either making or converting down. So I like doing things like passion flower. I like doing things like a male glandular, where you'll have a mix of liver, heart, and even bull testicle in there, so that you can get those constituents and build them up. But that's a good question, though. And are there cases you've had where you had to refer out to other healthcare providers? Yes, and that's the beauty of all this stuff, and especially when we're getting labs done on people and things, because there are times where it's like, hey, okay, we're going to need some medical help here to buy us some time as these things heal over, which I think is beautiful. And especially when patients are, communicating that they need some help in this period of time, but they want to work off of these things medically, which is their choice, right? But they have to be doing the right lifestyle things on their own, because my goodness, if you're not taking care of what's needed to be done, then we got some problems in the future. But what's up, Unk? I'm 27, first of all. Don't call me Unk. That's like, you get a little, hold on. Oh, wait, that's too low. There we go. It's a little record scratch. I ain't your Unk. Can your guy affect fertility? Yes, yes. If you're asking about getting testing on the man and the woman, there, 100%. It is not always that the ladies are having the issue. There's a lot of guys that just eat themselves into oblivion and create some problems, which is it's typical for guys to do. It's actually the most annoying part about having male patients, is that they just freaking eat themselves into problems. But I'm doing IVF. What should I eat to help implantation? And then you put gut there. Oh, can your gut affect fertility? I thought you said the guy. That's true too. But yes, I mean the gut, in the sense that you could be having inflammatory things going on, and now that's pulling away from hormone production, which is really common. Actually, most hormonal issues are not primary. There's a immune factor and neurological factors that influence the hormonal things. So pretty cool. They're usually you're not going to hear that with mainstream stuff, but that is certainly the case. Those are the only two primary systems. So but that's a really good question there. And I wonder, what were labs done on what the labs were done on you. I would love to see them. And I'd be happy to help in any way possible with either things that you can be deficient in, or things that you may have a little bit of toxicity through, and just helping your body convert these things down and rebuild, so that you can have a nice healthy pregnancy, which your body's meant to do. You're not programmed for disease. You are created by the God Himself to produce children. And that is the superpower that you ladies have. Aside from multitasking, you guys can do that very well too. I'm working on it. I'm for us guys, it's pretty tough to do things like that. But yeah, I would be curious for inflammatory things going on there. On average, what is the normal timeline you see for somebody to heal low thyroid conversion issues? It's going to vary for everybody. That is the hardest question to answer, that a lot of patients have, um, because it's going to depend on them and following recommendations there, not like from just a supplement standpoint, but also from a food standpoint and the lifestyle pieces that drive the foundation for we're building upon. But at least a few months, at least. Check your Facebook. We matched. Oh my goodness. Kevin, I wonder if, do we know each other? Maybe know each other. Current DO student here. What's up, Eric? How we doing, man? Where are you going to school? What state are you in? All right, back to the YouTube for this stuff. Oh, you're a duck. I'm getting an ingrown toenail surgery on Thursday. That must hurt a lot. Ingrown nails in general suck. Um, on Thursday, both big toes are both infected. I'm a bit nervous. Holy crap. You can you can do like a apple cider vinegar foot bath that can have some effect on it there, and also watering down or diluting some iodine too. That can help a ton. New subscriber here. Well, thank you very much. If I want to take one herbal supplement with a lot of benefits, what would it be? Probably astragalus would be the most, wide, biggest blanket approach there because you're aiming for the top of the immune system to produce immune cells from the bone marrows themselves and mature them up very nicely, similar to Romani in that way too. But you're having a much broader effect, even on if you are a guy in here, you're having an effect on testosterone there too, even the tissues within um, the testicles there, but also blood vessels. You're getting a ton of cofactors in there too to help out with things like homocysteine and um, blood vessel elasticity too. But really, because you're hitting the adrenal component, some liver functions in there, um, the blood vessel component there too, and also hormonally as well. So that's a really good one. Minoxidil won't work? Question mark for beard growth. I don't do anything with meds, so I'm not your guy to ask that question, but it could. I'm not sure. Back to here. Wellness Way Appleton hanging out. Have to get off. Well, it was nice, sort of chatting. So, LOL says Liz. Oh, you're laughing at my gut versus guy thing. The guy is also a great question, too. Yes, that is also a great question. Thank you. I really want a successful transfer. Yeah, I mean, having hormonal levels high enough is definitely one piece, but then having the inflammatory things be nice and low, that's how you hold on to pregnancies and things. What type? I'm a chiropractor and also specialize in health restoration. So basically, using all things from the earth, whether that be herbal tinctures, mushrooms, glandulars, and running labs to figure out why somebody's having symptoms in the first place and how do you rebuild behaviors that are leading to those things, such as mental stress, chemical stressors, physical stressors that we constantly go through with every single day. And um, maybe not every day, but within the past 2 weeks, everybody on here has made mistakes with sugar, has slept a little bit less than they should have, has stressed out, you know. So you're constantly going through things like that. I'm 25, unexplained infertility. All labs are good. I would, I would want to see them though, because typically they're going to say things are okay when they're not, or be like right next to being outside of ranges there. Lining 11 millimeters. What are my chances of implantation? I'd be curious to where hormonal levels are at, especially progesterone, um, and where some adrenal markers are at there too. But I'd wonder what you're doing with your foods, and I definitely want you doing some nice healthy fatty acids in there too. But keeping stress down, California poppy, keeping progesterone levels and brain signaling up that way, doing things that could be beneficial. But I want to see these labs first. Um, because there's probably some clues in there. And I'd be curious to see if enough was done, because typically not enough testing is being done, especially if you didn't have the conversion testing done. Like if you just had blood work, you would want to pair blood work with a Dutch test, so a urine hormone test, so that you can see production and conversion of these things, how the liver's processing all these hormones, how they're being metabolized out of the system, and then that can point you toward even some neurotransmitter issues as well as if the gut is a factor here, you're going to have a few markers that point to that as well, not just from become really common, B vitamins and things like that, but also neurotransmitter production. So you'll see that low, and then you'll see gut indican markers be high. So that would be probably the two best labs that you can do right now. Okay, I'm gonna fly back to YouTube really quick because there we got 6 and then 7 and then 6.8 and then 6.7. You guys are crazy. Free Derek? I don't know who that is. I'm not up to date on who Derek is, but I'll look him up after. Um, 27, damn unk. You're younger than me. What is with this unk? I'm not an uncle. I'm not an uncle. Anyways, just finished up my puppy chow. Anthony, how we doing, man? What supplements would you say besides potassium for SVT? I think it's potassium's a great one, especially citrate, so a specific form of that. But stomach acid production is key here too. So also getting things like apple cider vinegar or betaine HCl is probably your best bet because that's going to be the quickest, most quality way to get this corrected quicker. On top of that, though, it's going after certain neurological stressors there too. So say, relationship wise, job wise, a lot of stress, which guys find themselves in, and then they typically eat or drink to relieve. But probably something like passion flower. If this is a guy asking, I mean, the username is Proud Dad, so just a wild guess there. But I'll probably be doing some passion flower, some betaine, along with the potassium, and you can find that in the links there down below in the description. 27-year-old Doc. Wow, you've done quite a bit. Thank you. Oh wow, the chat just loaded, and there's way more to go through. Sheesh. I look Pakistani. What? I'm Italian. The chats are crazy sometimes, especially the YouTube ones. All right, let's go back to TikTok. I'm sure it's pretty interesting in here. Kava can cause liver damage. No, that's not true. That's not true at all, because you're looking at the one study that basically had people with liver failure in there, and they were testing on that, which every other article that they're found in and doesn't really relate to that at all. So that's not true. That's not true at all. But yeah, I know word spreads pretty quick online about certain things, but that isn't true. I've had extensive blood work tests and have constant burning leg pain and nausea. Oof. Treated H. pylori, curious about functional gallbladder issues. Well, I'd want to see some of those labs. I would want to look at a couple of liver and gallbladder things that can be going on there, but I wonder how much testing was done, because usually that's not going to be complete. And we may have to venture into maybe even doing some GI tests here, or a GI test, and seeing how to correct that, because the burning leg pain could either be something physical going on, so say you have some nerve root irritation, or it can be really high sugars in the system too there. That would be like the most common things I would see come about from that. But send me a message, I'll give you my email, and then let's see what that test was like. I'm curious about the gallbladder too, though. What's one thing I can do daily to improve my long-term health? Get enough sleep. Get enough sleep, completely darken out your room, getting things like red lights on at night so that you're not completely flipping the brain around, because you're going to now excite a lot of the light receptors, and now all these calming neurotransmitters that were being produced to try and prepare you for sleep are going to be completely thrown back around. So not good. You want to get some red lights in there. That's a one-time purchase that you can do. Get some blackout curtains, get some, charge your phone in another room, get something like a sunlight alarm clock, dial in on the sleep. And for any help with the sleep, go to thewellnessway.com, or just send me a message on here. I will get you basically all these handouts and things, because throughout the entire month of October, it is our sleep challenge. So check it out. Okay, wait. Some of these chats are being filtered when they're not even worth being filtered at all. But I see some people hanging out. I kind of skipped to the bottom of these ones, but I don't know anything about those meds, so I don't prescribe meds. That I leave up for the medical teams to be in their expertise with. That is their wheelhouse. I'm all supplementation, foods, lifestyle things. That's my wheelhouse. But we can coexist. I'm not for one or against one. Sitting here right in the middle. There's a time and a place for both. People get a little crazy here online. Gets emotional. It's like politics and things. All right. Let's fully get into this now. Hi, hello. Again, look Pakistani. I'm full-blown Italian, Antonio Francesco Eduardo. When nothing goes right, go left, I guess. French, go up. Am I 60 kilograms? I don't. Oh my god, these chats, guys. Hey Doc, what's my favorite animal? Probably a dog. SBT, I was on the top of lol, but it gave me a visual side effect. Swap that for another. Now, crazy vertigo, especially with driving, tips to combat the vertigo. Vertigo, you can actually do your own Epley maneuver and Dix-Hallpike maneuver on an inversion table. So you can actually rotate the head and go fully inverted and see a lot of benefits to issues with vertigo and things. I would also question hydration. I would also question electrolytes too, because minerals getting too low. You can see some things with balance be thrown off, but typically there's going to be inflammatory issues going on here too. Inflammation is just wreaking havoc on a lot of people right now. So, and it always will, because the body doesn't make mistakes. We do. So, Nas, hello to the OGs in the chat. Opinion on dark mango psychology. I have no idea what you're talking about. Thank you for the subscribe. How can I stop hair loss? Pubic hair loss? Guys, what are we doing here? How am I today? Doing pretty well. What do you think about Jesus, our Lord and Savior? Amen, brother. That's what I got to say about that. Okay. The one guy said, what's one thing I can do daily to improve my long-term health? And he says, drink water, which is true. Make sure you're getting electrolytes in there too. Yes, I don't understand the lab work part, what things mean. Don't really know what to tell me, which that's totally okay. Thoughts on kava? What does kava do? Well, kava, one of my favorite stress herbs. It's going to be different for a lot of different people because you're going to have different brain chemistry. You're going to have different stressors. And typically what I see is more the acute stressor side of things, like say somebody got fired from a job. Like I would take a swig of kava. If somebody is having more chronic stressors and things, you can do things like California poppy, maybe even paired with ashwagandha. See some good benefits there. This is lol, that's obvious. I had a patient who said he only drank coffee and soda and juice the last month. Oh my sugar. You can't make this stuff up. It's true though. It's like, I think it's kind of funny when natural and medical people get all up in arms and start throwing things back and forth, getting all pissed off at each other. It's like, I think the real thing there is that patients are just not following recommendations. That's like the core theme there. So when people are not following recommendations, guess what doesn't change? The health of the individuals. So can BTNHCl tip you into much acid? No, you want more acidity in the stomach if you're having reflux and some gastric issues, things like that, because when the stomach acid's too low, things are going to ferment, things are going to push upward and then put pressure on that lower esophageal sphincter. Even having more of an acidic environment in the stomach, number one, that's normal. Your pH is supposed to be like 1.5. And then two, it's actually going to help with signaling to the lower esophageal sphincter there too, and help with the constriction of that. So, do kava link to liver damage? Not true. Not true. Yeah, advanced search kava liver damage. So many results. That's getting pulled off of one study. It's not true at all. Yeah, I mean, this is like first grade SpongeBob. First grade SpongeBob. It's well established. No, I'm I have patients that do that all the time. I run pre and post labs and more additional labs on everybody, and their health only improves. So that their livers are doing great. So that's supplements do not force the body to do things. If you take too much of a supplement, you pee it out or you poop it out. It's not going to build up in your system and create issues. It's from the earth. Please, especially if they're extracted properly, it's like these are the safest things to do on the planet and like the healthiest things to do on the planet. So either way, we'll get out of this tumbleweed here. Hey doc, I painted my fingers and toes, but it's getting better each day. What is that? You're probably doing too much sugars. I would get a, a big complex of B vitamins going there, and then making sure that they're activated forms of that, just so you're not running into issues with quality control and things like that. So, painting the fingers, handle that one. What does it mean if I'm burping a lot more the past 2 days than normal, like multiple times an hour? I'd be curious about stomach acidity levels because that you're going to have a constant burp that continues. That's something that I struggled with when I first started these things. So start doing some more ACV and you'll probably see that die down. Okay. Supplements are not FDA approved. They 100% cause harm. Buddy, if we open this can of worms, you're going to get stomped out, my friend.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
I mean, this is like supplements are concentrated food, my guy. They're concentrated food. Yeah, and you do have to make sure you're getting them from good quality sources. Otherwise, you're going to have issues with that. I mean, that goes with your food, that goes with anything. But supplementation is literally taking a plant, putting it, and letting it wait there over a few months so that it can get pulled, all those constituents can get pulled out into the medium that you're using. And then that's basically a concentrated form of that plant. So they do not cause health issues. They can cause harm if you don't know what's in them. That's also true if they're not formulated properly, but they don't have an LD50 like every single medication does. Every single medication has a lethal dose. Your understanding of this is severely flawed. Every medication has a lethal dose, an LD50. Supplements don't have that. What the hell are you talking about? It's like, if you want to compare malpractice insurances, if you want to compare safety and efficacy, it's like, can we rewind to COVID? Can we rewind to COVID? Can we look at Tylenol? Can we look at ibuprofen? All these things. All right. Here we go. I let them hang out, but at a certain point, it's like I can't. We can't. The show can't go on with the interruptions here. Point being, supplements don't have LD50s. They don't have a lethal dose score on them. You take too much, you pee it out. Yes, formulations of them are extremely important, but that's why I specifically forward you guys toward the right stuff. What about supplements interacting with other medications? Good point to bring up. Typically, it's going to be like you'll see warnings with St. John's or warnings with all these things because they increase the metabolism steps within the liver. So it's just going to get that medication out of your system faster. That's the interaction. It's overblown. But go on, you can go on Hippocrates or drugs.com, all those interactions. Okay, I've been ignoring the YouTube chats, so I'm going to get back into here. Why did I message your girlfriend? What is going on? What is going on in this freaking chat here? Any tips to boost the mood when on a bad day? Yeah, something like Mucuna seed can supply you with a ton of L-Dopa, which is precursors for dopamine. So you'll get motivation back, you'll get your drive back, you'll have a nice mood, perk you back up. So that's a good question, though. Jesus loves you. Amen. Loves you too, my friend. Oh, man. Okay, wait. I. Okay, wait. Guys in the YouTube chat, put your questions in there again. The chat's going crazy. So it's hard to keep up on these things, especially on two different. Oh, you know what? Let me do a split screen thing here. Let me do a little split screen. And now I can see both live chats. Okay. Now I can make everybody happy. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. All right. Where did they leave off here? Don't read all of them. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. Dr. Antonio, also my name. Oh, very cool. Anyone with reflux or bad gas, take Alka Seltzer. Choose with. I mean, I'm going to have completely different recs here. Doctor. So we got some foreigners in the chat there too. Yeah, I mean, send me emails. I put my email in the YouTube chats. So, oh, that's why it wasn't loading. Should you take? I've never heard of these two, ribellusis and astries. I've never seen those. What is Rosita? What are you saying? These chats just went fully off a cliff. Like, what are you guys saying? Living pee with Dr. Antoni? What? Am I the dude who sells oil? I don't sell any oil. I, I mean, I like supplementation. I don't, maybe cod liver oil. Isria, I disagree with that. My goodness. No. All right, I'm ready for health questions, guys. I'm ready to help out the people in the chat. We're going full brain rot mode here. What is going on? Oh, I'm reading the wrong one. There we go. Laura Bolt, how are we doing? Got some OGs. OGs. Gotta love it. But yeah, let's not drink pee with Dr. Antonio. That would be my. Why you choose that way? What does that mean? Oh, DO or MD? Neither, actually. Yes, I'm a chiropractor with all my training through post grad things as well as within the wellness way too. So focused on all functional health measures and primarily health restoration. Um, in the fact that why don't we rebuild the body and help people prevent things down the road or even do things alongside of medicine when somebody's really in the need for it. But I'm not against people doing the medical route. It's completely up to them. That's the cool part. We have freedom to do so. But Isri Ahmed saying pseudoscience, well, it works. And I have people that come to me after decades of seeing medical providers, and then we get all their sugar regulated, rebuild things, test the immune factors, test hormones, and get all these things back to normal because you have to look at mental, chemical, and physical stressors that people go through on a daily basis. Things like lifestyle practices, not sleeping correctly, eating inflammatory foods, not getting enough fiber, not getting enough water into the system, stressing out too much mentally, chemically, physically. These things add up. So, my whole standpoint is to take that framework from a stressor approach to pull back chronic inflammatory stressors so that the body can get some healing done on its own, and then you can get good constituents in the system to help along with those natural processes of things, because you don't lose your health because of a medication deficiency. Let me be very clear on that. You do not have health issues because of medication deficiency. You have health issues because some type of functionality went wrong. So these are brain dead comments in here. Not on the TikTok side of things, just within the YouTube. But either way, my profession is certainly not a reason for 9.5 to 10% of the annual deaths currently. So Yasuki, no, not for you. My goodness, what happened here? How did we get so off the beaten path? No way. Oh, George, hell no. Not one bit. What is going on? It's like the brain rot on the YouTube transferred over to the TikTok stream. So, what am I drinking? I'm drinking basically a bunch of Ultima electrolytes and some water. Freaking damn good too. Okay, let's get back on track here. Insightful comments here. I know, so insightful. Okay. This is crazy. This is what happens when people don't take their. What the hell? I'm sure you are. I'm losing brain cells here. It's crazy. This is crazy. But I mean, appreciate the hanging out. Drinking a little nightcap of espresso here. Then we got some Ultima powder. Unemployed. No, I'm a business owner. Totally not unemployed. Appreciate the engagement though. Man. Immune testing, Cyrix Labs. I mean, that is a good lab, but it depends on what's going on in terms of the immune stressors that somebody's going through, and especially if it has to do with the GI. That's going to vary different than it would somebody with constant skin tags and fever sores on their lips, and that's going to be more viral type testing versus foods issues with foods. You can get certain immune tests done with that too. So it depends on what somebody's trying to get done. But there's certainly plenty of immune testing out there, even when things are a bit confusing and somebody doesn't know where to start. You can do something like a cytokine panel and see a lot of those things too. Anything about the IMAP test, trying to decide if it's worth it. I don't run them myself, but I've had patients that when they first start, they come in with some of those um, from Cyrix Labs, and I've seen the IMAPs. It's not perfect. I'd be curious. I don't know the pricing on it. I would be curious to the price, and then that would pretty much tell us if it's worth it or not. Um, but yeah, that's going to vary. So, but there's some value to it. I'd be curious about the price because sometimes it's way overdone. Almost $600. No, it's not worth it. I would get something like a Genova test there. Oh, let me just make sure we're talking about the same thing. I believe we are, but I mean that is a good test to look at the most important adaptive immune cells there, and even some innate immune cells. So there's that. But it's really just going to show you what to be supporting your body with. It's not going to tell you what daily lifestyle things to correct. So you can do that very similar lab for way less money through like MDL or MDL laboratories. You can do that same exact thing, but just for like half the cost. It's just a little thing to look into there. Asking health questions, but I'm ignoring you. Oh no, is anxiety and mental illness blank, or is it just a common trait? I see it more as a loss of function somewhere in the body, usually typically going to be a GI issue, honestly, as well as the adrenals, because 90 to 95% of your serotonin is created in the gut. A lot of the dopamine is created there too. So we need to focus on GI issues. I see a lot of benefit to doing things earlier on with California poppy, with things like kava, things that will pour into the neurological system and even help the adrenals calm down. Through that, you'll get the GI to calm down and things. But getting a GI test is probably your number one best thing you could do there. And then even rebuilding a lot of those tissues too, helping things like leaky gut heal up, getting the populations of normal commensal bacteria up to par, getting rid of the opportunistic infections, which are really common. And yeah, that's totally connected there. And I'm not looking for the genetic excuse here. I don't pull that excuse. There's plenty that you can do to get things like that back. So had a bookish session. you you crazy, man. You guys are crazy. What is going on? I'm from O Block. Hey, go to church. Not a bad idea. Chiropractor, church, this is the new trend. I'm all for it, man. And Leonardo, you spoke a little too soon, buddy. Don't hurt me like that. Let's see what Aw George said. Oh, you're just talking about Chicago. I don't know what that is. Christ is king. Look at that. I have gout. It hurts. What can I do? Okay. You want to cut down on the inflammatory foods. I would get rid of grains as much as you can, especially things like wheat. Get those things out. Um, Seed oils, get those things out. You want to be stopping the drinking. That's a really common reason for this too. But it's even certain aspects of the liver and the kidneys that we need to help out more than anything. So you could do something like albesium, something like dandelion root as you start to correct those lifestyle patterns, and you'll start to have some improvements there. No, not vegan at all. That's see, you guys speak too soon. You guys don't know who I am. Saying I'm a vegan? What the hell? Not on earth. Um, but yeah, for Theodore, there's plenty you can do there. Oh my goodness. Ivan, what are those potions? They're medicinal herbs. You got one of them right for Yasuki. Get a better name though. Yasuki? What the hell is that? Guys, everyone watching his live, guess what? He doesn't believe in God. That's not true. I do believe in him. I did diss you. You guys are pretty funny. All right. Yes, drinking water is definitely important. This is crazy. This YouTube chat is crazy. You guys have been so quiet for weeks on end, and now you come in here and just go buck wild. Okay, wait. We got some real questions in here, I believe. What language do I use? Am I a programmer? Not a programmer. What can we do about disc bulging, C5, C6, disc herniation, all cervical disc levels? That is in a rough spot to be, my friend. But some at-home things. I like giving people one-time purchaser options so that you can have things that you can do daily at home. Something like an inversion table is just going to be a good way to distract the entire body there from the feet down. So you can do that and also do some neck stretches while you're on that thing. But more importantly, something like a prolordotic exercise band that goes right at the base of the neck and has a nice cushion on there so that it can force the neck tissues forward as you draw the head back. And now you're able to look up and look down with that pressure going forward and not aggressively, but pushing that cervical spine forward, which is the way it should be. It's just when people get reversal of that curve, you start to run into some issues, and then eventually you get disc bulging, disc herniations, things like that. Something that may heard a little bit more early on is something like a dinner roll. So I'm actually going to put in the chat here pro-lordotic band and then a roll. A cinnamon roll. No, not a cinnamon roll. All right, let's get back up to where we were. You guys are putting. Okay, I brought the trolls here just for you. Thanks. I have dementia. Sounds like it. Oh my God. Oh, George. You got some anger management issues there. Maybe some kava would help. Definitely. All right, let's get back down into here. So many questions, it's hard to read. Hey, read my comments. Anyways, you'll need sodium. Water, sodium needs to be in your life. Lots of people miss out on sodium, not just sodium, but potassium too, magnesium as well. I think you should be trying to get those complexes in whole food form if possible. And then from there, you can do things like powders and stuff, but honestly, aim for the magnesium rich foods, aim for the potassium rich foods. Contact me if you need like handouts and things of those just to have and keep in your files there. But man, deja vu. Nas. How do I make Nas a mod? Don't make me mod, you guys. I'm hovering over the moderator button. Okay, so we have some real questions. Thank you, Anthony, for saving us here. Is kava liver damaging? No, there's going to be a couple studies out there. That was in relation to a study on people with a. Oh, why is your comment getting filtered here? TikTok got very quiet. But I know the study that is populated there. It's pretty revealing. But yeah, no, it's formulation of these things too. So if you're getting a good source of kava, there's absolutely no issue at all. And there's benefits to the liver pathways there, a couple of them, which I'm probably going to get on here and talk about tomorrow. So I didn't mention this in the call, but is small amounts of coffee okay? Yes. The Equip Foods brand that I've talked about with you already, the Equip Foods, the Prime Protein brand, they have a clean coffee in there, and it's definitely the most affordable, mold-free, pesticide-free, herbicide-free coffee that there is available for the best price. So something to think about. That's the only thing that I drink and consume. That's actually what is in this cup. So yes, coffee is definitely okay. It's just quality that we need to control. And also having electrolytes to back that up too. So what's the specialty? Chiropractic and health restoration. All things natural here though. Doing things like lab testing, food guidance, lifestyle, supplementation to get you back to normal so that you don't need to keep buying supplements. That's the whole point, is to get your body back to square one and learning how to take care of it too, so that you can go, oh, okay, when I'm stressed out, I can do these. So is there an organic med cure for ADHD? I don't want you to think of it like that. There are very excitatory things that people practice on a daily basis. So when you're having rapid thoughts, can't keep thought trains in order, your brain's going buck wild, California poppy can calm that response down in the short term. Kava can do that as well. And you'll actually have influences on serotonin, on dopamine, on um, certain things with sugars, just because of the battle that you'll achieve with getting stressed down. But it is pulling away a lot of the processed foods. It is doing a lot of the rebuilding of the GI, because that is where your neurotransmitters are largely produced and created in the first place. So if we can rebuild that environment and figure out why it's going wrong in the first place, then there we go. This guy, TikTok doctor only. I changed my name to Dr. John Cabrosa. What the heck? Um, Congratulations. What's your take about the supplements which is popular at the moment, Meta? I don't know too much about it. So if I don't know something, I'm just going to be flat out honest with you. I haven't heard of that one though. And if you want to provide some details on it, feel free. Fitness coach Lynn, what's up? Popping in there. All right. Transcranial magnetic stimulation. There's actually something cool to that. Brain Tap is a good company that does some cool um, different therapies for the mind too. Good. My brother's slowly getting better. I'm glad to hear. I zoned out. Can you simplify the explanation? I have ADHD. Yes. We have to figure out what is exciting the system. So things that can buy you time to start correcting the lifestyle things, because it's eating inflammatory food that leads you to a place like that. Um, Maybe certain meds that were done when you were younger, but California poppy, things like kava, California poppy, are good places to start right now. Maybe even something like bacopa, just to help calm the brain down and feed into those neurological tissues there. And I talk about California poppy and kava a lot. Um, those two are key. And if you really have it down and bad with the ADHD stuff, maybe throw in bacopa there, but pull away your processed foods, things that are boxed, a lot of your grains, a lot of your sugars, a lot of phone use, especially at night, is going to throw all these normal systems off. So, do you have ADHD, or did you lose function somewhere that now your body's expressing itself that way because we took away the normal processes in the body from doing different stressors over time? So, ADHD here too. That's funny. Don't do too much popping if you're on probation. It's funny. Um, okay, I don't know where to begin with these YouTube comments. This is crazy. Yes, tell him, Doc. TMS. Yeah, there's something to it there. Um, Marine collagen drink for aging. I've never heard of that, but aging in general, you definitely want to get more antioxidants in the system. That being one thing, and figure out where the oxidative stressors are coming from. It's usually inflammatory issues that are leading to that cascade of response occurring, and even DNA damage can happen too. So, not sleeping at night in the proper hours that you're supposed to be. You should be dead asleep by 10 p.m. So, there's that. Getting the antioxidants down, melatonin, an extremely powerful one, glutathione, another extremely powerful one. But something that could actually slow the telomeres breaking down is astragalus, which I mentioned like an hour ago when we first started this live. So, what about arthritis and gout? So, these are both inflammatory issues. You definitely want to pull away some purine sources there. So, a lot of your wines, your beers, your heavy cheeses, things like that, I would want you to remove as many grains as you can, at least get rid of wheat, get rid of dairy right now, get rid of soy sources, get rid of seed oils, stop drinking. So there's that. And then doing things like dandelion root and albizia. And you can help process those things and break them down and allow your liver to filter these things out before they become a problem. But that's both of those things are inflammatory issues, and you need to figure out through some testing and things where those inflammatory sources are coming from, because usually it's chemical for guys most of the time. There's some mental stress things that can happen too, and we beat our bodies up physically as well. But yeah, that's where I would start at least. Okay, I zone out and restless and procrastinating. Yes, you're having issues with some dopamine and things there. I know I have it, and I'm aware. I just don't want it to affect my life anymore. I agree. I agree. And calming the brain down, maybe even doing something like L-Dopa from a Kuna seed. I will even do that before I get on here and do these lives, because it keeps your brain firing super quickly. Um, assisting with short-term memory, assisting with motivation and drive and focusing on individual tasks there. Dopamine's super powerful for that. But also doing hard things gets you that same result as well. So we should be back. We back for the YouTubers. Hopefully, a lot of the crazy ones left. That would be nice. This is always impossible to put on. I think we're good. Mike died. All right. Where do we go from here, huh? Jessica, yes. Somebody said I muted this stream. That's funny. Sound quality drop. Muted, muted. You guys tried to warn me. I just completely ignored it. But hey, still people hanging out. So, okie dokie. TikTok is back and live again. TikTok's questions are a million times better than the ones on YouTube. So, YouTube, you gotta step up your game here. These questions are not. They're not even questions. There's just like brain rot in the chat. I mean, it's funny, but I would rather like go off as I was doing before and just let things fly off the tongue. All right. So yes, Cheekies, send me a message, and then um, we can get into some things there. What's a good thing for hormonal imbalance? It's important to realize that as a female, your hormones are always going to be imbalanced. Every week they're going to change. So are they fluctuating properly? I know I'm kind of playing with words here, but they're always going to be imbalanced. Estrogen is going to go up and down, and progesterone is going to go up and down, and testosterone and LH and FSH and all these things. But a good way to make sure that they are converting correctly, the number one beauty herb for women, drum roll please, get your notebooks out, is Sisandra. something like Sisandra and pairing that with California poppy yet again, so you can keep stressors down and help your liver convert these things down and through. So, what are causes for numbness and tingling in the hands and feet? I mean, there's plenty of postural things that can happen here, a lot of nerve root irritations that can happen. But I think people are over abuse sugars, and that's pretty much what leads you toward something like that. There are times where there's something going on with an infection or the immune system, and maybe even things with neurological issues there. But blood sugar is a huge connection. The box shark says, "Hello, I'm a box." Well, ASMR. What's after that, George? What am I drinking? I got some electrolytes in my water. I got some espresso, some clean coffee from Equip Foods, which pesticide use and mold is another excitatory thing for Ova J in here, having issues with the ADHD and things like that. So you can, George, nice job. Literally puts the hands. That's funny. That's funny. I gotta hand it to you guys. You guys are wild on YouTube, but you are funny. So I will give you that. Because someone said I was rude earlier, but I'm not trying to be rude. It's just I wanna help people here. Is it due to the gut health? Yeah, from what that can definitely be a connection there. Is that the only thing going on? I don't think so. There can be some other issues there too. What is the process of getting diagnosed for ADHD? Um, I don't do that. there's there's a response occurring. Your body's losing its ability to adapt, and now we're having those issues. So typically, it's like, do you have trouble focusing? Okay, and then here's a med that completely numbs you. That's there's usually no testing or anything with that. But I could be wrong. It's just not my. I don't practice medically here. This is all natural health stuff. So not that it's bad to do medicine and things. It's just when people don't want to do that, then they have the choice to do things naturally. So okay. Mm, symptoms of moldy body, usually sinus issues, usually uh, tons of brain fog and Herxheimer reactions. So you will notice this if you leave the house, especially if there's water damage, and then you come back to the home and all your symptoms come back. Typically, that's going to be air quality issue. There's filters like Air Doctor. There's filters like My Triad Air. Those are great ones, approved, best ones you can get. But if you don't get rid of that mold in the environment, then it's going to keep taking place. So usually, yeah, the sinus issues, the Herxheimer reactions, tons of brain fog, and a suppressed immune system is typically what you're going to see. But people can be different and react in different ways. I did a paperwork test. Okay. My daughter did a 2-hour testing for that. Oh, I mean, it's just going to give you a medication to take. So it doesn't figure out why you have ADHD. There's no medication deficiency out there. So just saying. Do my comments come up here? Yes, they do, Anthony. Sorry, YouTube was super busy, so your comments probably got lost in there. It's still going crazy, but what? Spread space related knowledge. That's cool. Somebody said piss off. That's funny. All right. 2 hours is a lot. I'm restless. Some California poppy, I'm telling you. Doctor's saying it's anxiety. I mean, there's a stress component, but we got to go after the mental stress there and then also rebuild the body, which you can certainly do. One more question. What causes extreme histamine in the body? Inflammatory reactions, because your mast cells are getting activated. So, like I mentioned, mold can be an issue. There can be issues in the GI. You can be eating foods every day. It can be an air quality issue. You can have low vitamin D. You can have um, autoimmunity, which is again back to those chemical issues there too. So it's a lot of things, honestly, from food to things you put on your body, potions and lotions and all that, things you drink, things you breathe in. Went to my family doc. YouTube is brain rot at the moment. Yeah, usually there's like good questions in here, but oh my goodness, low vitamin D at 20. Whew. Yeah, that should be 70 to 80 typically. So, is it normal to get tunnel vision? No, and be a little weak after standing up from sitting for a while. Typically, that's going to be some deficiency of sodium or potassium. So, I would 100% be doing something like Ultima. Be throwing those in your water, and now you can have just hydrate your cells properly, and you won't see that issue. You've mentioned DNA damage. Is there a way to reverse that? Um, yeah, it's by getting these things out of your system that are creating oxidative stress. It's no different than biting an apple, setting it on the table, and watching that thing start to turn brown. That's what's happening on the inside. So it's figuring out the inflammatory triggers that are leading to this reaction in the first place. There are some hormonal things that can be improperly converting, leading to things like 4 hydroxy leading up. You can have DNA damage that way too. But my stance still stays the same with doing things like Dutch testing and looking for the reasons for inflammation in the first place. So, vitamin D, when I take it, I feel worse. Yes, because your immune system's now waking back up here. So, you want to do smaller doses and be very frequent and consistent with that. And now your body's going to start to get all of that under control because vitamin D at 20 is not normal. And if it's creating symptoms, then we really got to focus on some things with the immune system here or the immune response. I also get constant sensations and pain, numbness, tingling, angina. Yeah, I think we got some inflammatory issues here. Um, I'll be doing food allergy testing and doing a Genova test for cheekies in here for sure. Doctor, my lips are really chapped. Chapstick isn't seeming to help, which it won't. You'll have to reapply it a million times. But get cacao butter. It's basically chocolate butter. Use Palmer's cocoa butter stick. Duty knows. Um, yeah, get some cacao butter, and you'll from Sun Foods. They come in like little tiny discs, and you can just use it as chapstick, and you'll be perfectly fine. Okay. So, do you need magnesium and K2 for vitamins to work? I mean, you get better activation of vitamin D when you do that. Um, so, Shelly, you got a good question there. But yeah, magnesium can help with that, and I definitely like seeing K2 along with that vitamin D as well. That should be that should totally be in there. Where's the moderator? We don't have one in the YouTube chat, so I don't think I have one in either right now. Oh, you meant D. Yes, for vitamin D, you definitely need magnesium if that's too low. You definitely need that and K2 as well. I should be studying, and here I am on TikToky. Yeah, well, hey, let me be a reason. Get off the phone, man. Okay, Shelly, I breathed in black mold for 3 years. Oh my goodness, I hope you're out of there. I hope you're out of there. Any way to help with respiratory issues? The doctors aren't listening to me. I mean, you can do something like a colloidal silver nasal spray, but are you out of that environment yet? That would be my next question. And ways to help that right now would probably be like Japanese knotweed and Romania, because you're typically going to be really fatigued with things like that too. So those are just going to help be more adaptogenic. I'm out of it. Okay, good. and I had animals, and that's not going to help with air quality. But yeah, you can do some colloidal silver nasal spray, and at least the Romani and the Japanese knotweed. But you can also do something like OSHA if you're still. It doesn't sound like you're still having restricted breathing and things, so don't worry about the OSHA. Actually, gotta go eat. Well, hey, have fun there. What's the best way to get started with lymphatic drainage without getting more sick? I would say something like a rebounder because you only have to buy that once and you're getting physical activity out of that too and a ton of circulation pumping through the system. It's mainly like a mini trampoline. Like I said, you only get one time and you can continually use it, but I think that there's a lot of benefits to that and I love one-time purchases and things. Hi, doctor. Can irregular heartbeat lead to atrial fibrillation? I mean, it can. I would be very curious to see if you had any other scans and things done because it's definitely worth getting like an EKG done and seeing all those things. Because I used to have that issue too with the heart palpitations and things, but it was more of a GI and stomach issue than anything else. So it was really an inflammatory thing going on. When you do that, do you need to take binders? You can do a little bit of them, something like a coconut charcoal, but don't go too crazy on that um, because it's going to slow down the bowels and could even help, basically, or not help, but block some of the nutrient absorption there too. So, a good question there, Es Flaca. But yeah, if you don't figure out the inflammatory sources in regards to food and GI things, because that's going to help clear mold toxicity out, if that's truly what's going on, then we're kind of running around in circles, you know? We need to figure out those things. Um, and I love when people have at least a baseline lab that I can guesstimate some things off of, but I'm basically giving out as many things as free as I can here. So send me a message on here if you're on TikTok, send me an email if you're on the YouTubes. We can get to talking about things and basically help get you back to normal. And I'll point you toward what to be taken and where to get things from and clean brands and all that stuff. Build you up nutritional and lifestyle plans too. At least until the office is open, I'm not charging for any of that stuff. So snag your free stuff while you can, people. Um, in class, I either don't finish assignments or finish them super late because I can't focus for what feels like more than 5 minutes. Is that ADHD or autism or something else? You're probably taking in way too many sugars, probably doing inflammatory foods there as well. I would be doing something like Bacopa to just help calm that down, and getting off the phone helps a lot too. Getting things like exercise going, moving your body, getting some of those things going. Okay. Anyways, have you heard of all my symptoms before? Yeah, and it's pretty common. Pretty common to see. Not normal, but there's plenty you can do about it. What do you think about ferritin 5? Oh my gosh, that is not good at all. That's flaca. We gotta get some stomach acid going. We gotta get some iron source foods into the system. I'd be curious about the cycles too. If they're really heavy, you could be getting rid of a lot of your red blood cells that way too. That may be those iron stores are going. But focusing on the stomach acid, maybe even doing things like a liver glandular capsule. That way you can have basically a ton of bioavailable sourced iron coming into the system. And now, due to inflammation, yeah, what tests do I need to do? I would at least do a food allergy test and a everyday stool collection, which isn't fun to do, but it's going to give you answers for what the heck's going on here. And I would want to see the blood work that you've already had done, um, whether you want to give me that before or after, but I'll guide you on where to get those testing things done. Tips to help the gallbladder and gallbladder sludge. You can do things like Oregon grape. You can do dandelion root, um, and probably ox bile as well, so that you can help push the gallbladder there and get more stimulation done and get a lot of toxicity out that way too. So do iron, BS, and D go hand in hand? So do iron, BS, and D. Is um, clarify what iron, BS, and D is. Okay. Is Herbalife good for you? They're not the cleanest brand. If you're talking about the brand of it. Whoa. Oh, vitamin D and B. So do iron, vitamin B, and D go hand in hand? I mean, that's nature is typically going to have you take these things in all in full spectrum. So when you're taking in something like liver glandular, which is just liver from grass-fed and finished cow, that's going to have all of the B vitamins that you need with all of the iron sources that you need there too. So pretty cool. And it's a fatty, a fat source vitamin too, so you can build up those stores. And vitamin D is also a fatty vitamin as well. So different from the liver glandular stuff, but your body's meant to take these things all in full spectrum, the same way you get the sun. I can't do liver because I'm dealing with histamine issues. Yeah, you can. That the red meat thing is BS. So that's just like a popular thing that got thrown up online. Um, you're extremely deficient, and the only two reasons people get sick are deficiencies or toxicity. So if you're extremely we better fix one and now start going the other way, and you'll probably feel a million times better once you get the iron stores back up. And yes, I know I get sassy on here, but I'm going to tell you things straight, with no fluff or cushion on there. So sorry if it sounds a little edgy. How long did it take for you to become a doc? 8 years. 8 freaking years. Undergrad and grad school. Still study every day though. I like the sassy side. Okay, I do have degenerative disc disease, and this headache keeps me in bed. This headache is horrific. The worst thing in the morning, I will look into spinal realignment. Thank you. Yes, definitely the prolorditic bands and the Denerols. Those are two great things. She says, no, please be honest. Because my docs don't help when I'm lost. So S Flaca, send me a message on here. I will not be able to call people tonight, but I will be calling people tomorrow. So no charge here until the office is rolling in like 3 or 4 months or 2 to 3 months from now. So I'm helping as many people with no charge here for the time being. Take advantage. Take advantage, my friends. Um, build a healthy community on here and have something to say to all the haters, especially when you get all your things done and have good help. So, okay, wait, I missed a few. How long did I answer that one? Thoughts on the contraceptive pill and risks such as heart and blood pressure? I mean, yeah, there are definitely side effects there. I would much rather people pay attention to what time of the month it is and the risk of getting pregnant because that is very important to look at. Um, I would never advise for or against those things because I can't. But yeah, if you're asking about hormonal issues and things, you need to look at production and conversion. So getting a thyroid hormones blood test done and doing things like a Dutch test can now show you that production and conversion of things and say, hey, okay, there's an issue with the adrenals, there's issues with the liver converting these things down. Maybe that's why you're holding on to some of the androgens. That can also be due to something like a sugar issue. Maybe there's some of the estrogens that are not converting down and through, which need to come out through the urine and through the stool, which there can be a GI issue going on there. There can be kidney issues. There can be issues with methylation and things. So, good question though. Do you recommend medication to help with POTS? Extra salt isn't helping. Yeah, I don't give meds on here, or anywhere. So, my perspective is okay, especially with an issue like POTS, which is something I've seen a ton of people with. Um, I used to have that myself. Potassium, stomach acid, testing for food allergies, doing things like adaptogens to calm the adrenals down, and you can see some benefits and things start to reverse there because your body's just going back to normal on your own. Um, but yeah, okay, wait, what did we miss in the YouTubes? Just Google it. He said, "Why did your oh no? Why are we talking about the cervix in here?" These are funny. Okay, sorry, my spelling. 7 years grinding, 2 years specializing. I mean, technically it's 7.5, so not 8, but cannabis is a solution for anything. There are benefits to certain CBD and things. Um, I definitely see benefits there in a lot of people. I also take magnesium for restless leg. Yeah, you can do a 3 and 8 or a glycinate. Trial and error a little bit there and see which one works better. Like ADHD or arthritis, those are both inflammatory things and issues with the GI as well, because a lot of the neurotransmitters come from the GI. So you need to repair what's going on in the belly and getting inflammation down. Things like albizia, chamomile, and then start to repair different neurotransmitters there. Something like alcidonia, which will have a ton of GABA, have a ton of the B vitamins that are associated with creating neurotransmitters. Things like L-DOPA, um, yeah, reducing sugars, yeah. Sometimes walking uphill, pain in the smallest toe finger. Is this normal? This could be like an ingrown toenail or something. What would you do for a migraine? I would be doing something like albizia. Helps a ton with the brain there and getting inflammation down. But you need to figure out why the migraines are happening in the first place because I don't think people eat enough, first of all, eat enough of actual food. So usually proteins are deficient, usually electrolytes are deficient, fiber's usually deficient, and you can't be just eating a ton of inflammatory food, which that'll be a huge reason for migraines. Um, but there's usually some inflammatory issue with migraines there. Um, there can be cycle dependent things for females in the chat, but hey, Dr. Antonio, do you answer questions on here? Yes, definitely. I would stay away from annoying people. I agree. What is going on here? I'm not sure about that question with the milk question there. These people, I mean, it's funny, but like, you guys are nuts tonight. I don't know what got into the YouTube chat, but something. They got the ants in the pants here. Oh, wait, I forgot all about the soundboard too. Somebody said, bruh. I'm gonna hit him back. Where's my bruh? Dang it.
Bruh,
There we go.
bruh.
Been trying to remove hand warts. Okay, usually going to be a viral issue here. The more we pick, the more I get them. How do I get rid of them? So you can do a diluted mixture of and iodine in water and put that on topically. If you want to put something on it topically, you'll see benefit there. But honestly, getting things like reishi and turkey tail into the system, um, I'll show you where to get good sources of those things too. Send me a message on here. Um, Actually, I'll just put the damn link in the freaking chat at this point. My eyes are going crazy. Looking at all these things. Okay. It's been a long day, you know. You can find clean herbs and things there. I put that in the TikTok chat. So, but yeah, you got to focus on the immune response is up to par, and typically when you're having reactivated viruses and things, Epstein-Barr's, maybe even things with the pandemic stuff. I don't know what you can or can't say on here anymore. It's like freaking, even on some of my videos, my own comments get filtered out. It's crazy. Okay. I'm unsure, waiting, always worried. about not eating enough and my muscles just start to eat each other for the weight gain, yeah, if you're not, if you're either trying to do fasting and things like that in the morning, you're going to lead toward more issues with sarcopenia and stuff. So I would be getting your highest protein meals in as soon as you can in the morning, and maybe getting a later lunch in and skipping dinner if you want to do something like that. I'm 53 years old, ADHD and arthritis. Another one. Again, inflammatory issues for the ADHD and things. You could do things like Bacopa, do things like California poppy. And then for the arthritic issues, you'll have some benefit there with those. If not, doing something like turmeric or boswellia, you'll see benefit there. And then pulling away the inflammatory foods, please. Wheat, dairy, corn, soy, processed sugars, at least getting those out of the system. And then what else? Yeah, I would remove a lot of the cheeses, get alcohol out of the system there. No reason to be doing that, no benefit at all. Making sure you're doing enough proteins and things, not skimping out on good fatty rich sources of food there too. There's nothing wrong with turmeric. I said you can do something like turmeric for um, the arthritic issues and joint pains and things. And I don't think I put the link in here, but I will. You guys are trying to get clean herbs from things. No, it's all good. I was probably talking too quick. Yeah, I'm getting tired here. I do need some sleep. Definitely. High quality olive oil. Yes, totally. What's the best way to gain weight with fast metabolisms? Yeah, I mean, getting enough protein in the morning, doing things like sprints. So, resistance training, getting enough protein in early in the morning, and sprinting. Three best ways to increase lean muscle mass. And through that, you will lose fat on your body because you'll be burning it up like crazy. But a lot of people don't realize when you eat excess fat, you gain weight. You add to the fat. So when you have hyperpermeability of fats and things, that's not going to help you a lot of the time. And make sure your olive oil is in a dark container, 100%. I'm amazed at how the States olive oil is packaged sometimes. Yeah, totally. That's true. I love this. What's your thought on people claiming everything is a parasite? It drives me crazy. And that's why parasitic medication could even help with things like the C word, even the other C word, ivermectin, things like that. Yeah, I know. Um, there are better ways to go about this. It's just that it reduces inflammation and things, so people obviously get a lot of benefit from that. And you're going to have fungal overgrowth and things, not fungal overgrowth, parasitic overgrowth and things in everybody. Parasites are in everybody. It's when they overgrow, they become an issue, just like strep throat. Strep throat is in everybody. But when it overgrows, it becomes an issue. It can go to your kidneys, it can go to your heart, different things like this. I think Genova testing to look at if there are parasites or not is where we should start, first of all. And then looking into things like wormwood and black walnut. But what the environment that allowed that parasitic infection to take over is what we have to work on getting rid of. Not just here's a magic thing that you can take and make things go away. That's a flawed way of thinking because the environment is what led you there in the first place. And when I say the environment, I mean the environment here. Low stomach acid, you can't kill off the opportunistic infections. They get past that. Microbial overgrowths within the small intestine, then parasitic issues keep moving through, find their home in the large intestine there. Not enough bile secretion, liver slowing down, all these things that are just not secreting properly, and people beat the hell out of their bodies. So, yeah, the second you start to reduce inflammation, it feels great. Um, but there's much better ways to go about it, and there's plenty of testing that you can do to rule things in or out and know exactly where to focus these things on in the first place. So, okay, I am going to sign off here. It was fun hanging out. I will be back here tomorrow, probably same time and things. Yes, thank you for all the hearts and things. Um, Bella Francesca, you're coming right as we're closing out. It's going well though. We just had a ton of activity over on the YouTube platform. Surprisingly, got oddly quiet on the TikTok. side of things, probably because I'm reading so many brain rotten things. But you guys calm down a little bit. We got it under control. Fire's been extinguished, but it was fun hanging out. Thank you guys for joining. Bella Francesca, it was cool chatting with you here too. I know we caught you late, but just say no to TikTok. I keep it in there because they do ask very good questions on TikTok, and the algorithm's just fantastic. It just pushes you right out to a ton of these things. So that was fun. I had to pull up both live chats on my screen here in front of me to see all of the comments coming in. So if I wasn't looking right at you guys tonight, that's my bad. We can't make beautiful eye contact all the time, right? Um, but long busy day, starving. Had to go do groceries. Now got to make dinner. Heck yeah, get your proteins in there and get ready for bed. Um, but as always, for the people that have further questions, want to ask me personal things or send me labs and get full game plans written up on what to be doing with food and your lifestyle and any supplementations that you should or should not be doing. If you're on YouTube, email me. If you're on TikTok, send me a message on here. I will be answering all the messages. I will get full game plans and responses back to you guys um, tomorrow or tonight. But yes, until the office is open, I am not charging people for these things. So grab your free stuff while you can. Let's build the healthiest community possible online. No paywalls, no nothing like that. Let's just bless you for this. Please don't overburden yourself with speed around here, my friend. Half the time it's people beating the hell out of their bodies, anyways. So, but it won't last forever because this office will be open at some point. So, um, grab your stuff, and yeah, that's about it. So, let's get a little outro song going. Just continue where I had this left off in the first place. We'll go from there. How can I pay for services online? When you do charge, there will be fee schedules, and I'll have payment processors and all those things set up. So, still setting up the EHR software. I actually got the keys today to the location, so we got to go through set up the X-ray and things, but we'll worry about that later.